Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Browns Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, and this is where we get you caught up on some of the latest news involving our Cleveland Browns, and then we share our opinions on the news along the way. Thanks to everyone who has liked our previous episodes and those of you who have subscribed to the channel. We're getting there almost to 7,000. I will change the fit for one show at the 7,000 subscribers. And then to everyone who gets their comments into the viewer comment section, I really appreciate it. Now, coming up on today's show, Veterans Report tomorrow. Finally. But we're going to talk about which one of them may be feeling the most pressure heading into training camp. Also, since we're talking about feeling the pressure, we're also going to point out which rookie will most likely be feeling the weight of expectations. Andrew Berry sharing an eye-opening message over the weekend that's directed at the fans as the quarterback battle gets set to resume this week. And down in the viewer comments, one viewer gives me a taste of my own medicine. Now, before we get going, did you guys see the National Football High School Hall of Fame is moving to Brook Park? Yeah, they're bringing it from Canton to Brook Park. They're going to build a 40,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility. Brook Park. Why? I feel like we talked about Brook Park before for some reason. Oh, that's right. The new stadium's going there. Folks, I know all this stuff's happening in the courts, but this is not happening. The stadium will be built. They're going to build so much around this thing. It is going to be a city within the city. And that is just another sign of what is coming to Brook Park and the Browns' new stadium, the National High School Football Hall of Fame. Going to move to Brook Park. But I digress. Now, back to the matters at hand. Veterans reporting tomorrow. Real football, folks. We're back. It's back in Northeast Ohio, back in the land. But as the veterans report, which vet is going to be feeling the most pressure? Now, when I started thinking about this, I thought maybe Flacco. And I said, no, Joe Flacco, no. Because, he's on the back nine of his career. I mean, he's on the 18th hole of his career. But the veteran who I think is going to feel the most pressure as training camp gets going is Mr. Situational Grit, Kenny Pickett. Why is that? High expectations, right? I mean, they traded for him, gave up a quarterback and a pick. Little room for error. He's going to enter camp with what might be his final opportunity to establish himself as a starting caliber NFL quarterback. This is probably his last shot, folks. A lot of people think it is. And so the other part of this is he's entering a crowded quarterback room. We just mentioned Joe Flacco. Joe knows the offense. I mean, he's comfortable with Kevin Stefanski. He's the safe bet. When you describe use one word to describe Joe, he is the safe bet. And Pickett's got to go up against him. And a lot of the talk is that it's one of the veterans who will start the season as QB1. But if Pickett can't demonstrate clear improvement and leadership, then, not only is this spot as QB1 in jeopardy, but it could be his spot on the roster could be in jeopardy as well. And then, you look at his resume, 13 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Yeah, he's got a winning record. And he's had some come from behind victories. But he's had a lot of past struggles too. And he's going to need to turn that around and just get everybody to exude confidence in him right away. He doesn't have a lot of time to pull this off either, He's been up and down, with the Steelers. And, he showed some signs with the Eagles last year. He's back with his old quarterback coach. But there's a lot of mop-up duty, and that one game he played with a broken rib, and they ran the ball. Saquon Barkley ran for like 167 yards. And so, there's that. So, it's just a lot. There is a lot on the Kenny Pickett plate as this gets going. The rookies, I mean, yeah, are they in the mix to start week 1? Sure, but they're not playing for their NFL life. Joe Flacco knows where he stands. The fans know where Joe Flacco stands. I mean, he's had a great career, and for all intents and purposes, the sun is setting on Joe Flacco's career, and everybody knows it. And so it's Kenny Pickett, man. He is going to start feeling that pressure right away when the vets report tomorrow. Now, the rookies, well, they've been there since Friday. And they too, though, there are some rookies who will be feeling, there's high expectations, and you could say Carson Schlesinger could be one of them, maybe. You could say, is it Dylan Gabriel? Shedeur Sanders? I mean, everybody thought Shedeur was going in the first round, right? Could be a lot of pressure on him. I would have thrown, Quinshawn Judkins in there because he was supposed to be our RB1, but at the moment he's out of the mix because of his off-the-field issues that he's dealing with. And I went round and round and round, but then I said, you know what? Do you know what rookie I think will have the most pressure on him heading in as the vets report and training camp gets rolling and we get deeper and deeper into it? It's the one and only Mason Graham. Yeah, I mean, there was everybody thought they could take Travis Hunter, and then we made the trade, we got the haul, and then we took Graham, and everybody was like, what? But then it took a little while for everybody to go, okay, I see what we got here, but Graham's expected to start. He's also changing his style of play, because remember at Michigan, they wanted him to sit back and play the run, and now Jim Schwartz, from the second we've drafted him, said they are taking the reins off of him and they want him up the field. They want him attacking the quarterback. And so he's been, that's one of the things he's been working on ever since he got to Berea, is just changing his just everything about the way he's played. So there's pressure there to learn a new style. And then also providing Myles Garrett help. I mean, one of the reasons they took him and one of the reasons they want to get him upfield is because they are hoping he can take away some of these double teams, that even triple teams that Myles Garrett gets every game, And so to me, there's a lot that we're expecting from Mason Graham. And there's no indication that he can't handle it. I mean, he can't. There's nothing showing us that he can't handle this pressure. But that's the rookie I think that will feel I just think that's where if anybody's gonna feel it, I think it's gonna be Mason Graham who will feel the pressure. But like I said, there's no reason why he couldn't handle it, and he's been doing great so far. Great guy. I mean, he's like the guy, like my buddy and I talk about all the time. He's like the guy you go to, like the sports bar when there's like a wing eating contest or something. You take him along, and he just wins it. I don't know, man. He just looks like that guy. He looks like the guy you want to go to the sports bar with and hang out and watch him like eat like a man versus food contest or something. So, but it'll be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what that defensive line, man. Whoo! It's going to be awesome, man. There's so much. There's help for Myles, and Mason will be a big part of it. Now, how about this over the weekend? Barry, our boy. Wasn't Baranski. It's just Andrew Barry, all by his lonesome talking to Yahoo Sports, and man, oh man, the message he's sending to fans about the quarterback battle. Because everybody, I mean, like we've been talking about it, folks. These quarterbacks, not one of the four of them are going to be able to do anything without somebody making a connection to the quarterback battle. I mean, this is going to be nuts over the next 4, 5, 6 weeks until a starter is finally named. But Andrew Barry told Yahoo Sports that oftentimes he doesn't want fans reading too much into anything. Listen to this. Oftentimes, the thought is, the NFL is, okay, well, your starter gets 70% of the reps. Your backup gets 25% of the reps. And your third guy gets 5% of the reps. And the job of the backup is to be ready to play with no reps, Barry said. It doesn't have to be that way, especially in the spring when we have some flexibility because we're not necessarily preparing for games. So, what could he mean by that? Well, what he's saying is, I think what he's saying without saying it is Joe Flacco knows this offense like the back of his hand. So, does he need all the reps? Probably not. I think if he's going to be the QB1 and the closer you get to those joint practices and or I won't not so much the preseason games. I don't expect Joe Flacco to play in the preseason game, but those joint practices, the closer you get to those joint practices, yeah, he'll probably take more reps. But I think that's where he's going. And like we just mentioned, Kenny Pickett and the pressure he's going to feel, he's going to need those reps. They need to know what they got in him. And so if he's not picking it up, they're going to have to abort the mission and go somewhere else. And then you got the two rookies, and who knows if they abort on the veteran mission, they might go right to one of the rookies. And so there's a lot to figure out in a little time. And the unknowns will need the reps so they can become knowns. And I think that's what Andrew Berry is saying. And so everybody's going to be reading into the reps, man. Everybody will be looking at those reps, and the quarterback trackers will be out, and all that, all that good stuff. And I just think that that's what Berry's trying to pump. He wants everybody to pump the brakes on the reps, and especially when at the beginning of the early part of training camp. But we'll see. We will see where it all ends up. Now, when it comes to reps, the viewer comments get all the reps every single day, and we're going to start today with Ali Muscle, who says, I believe our record will depend on quarterback play. If we have solid quarterback play, the Browns will make it into the postseason. Yes, I agree with you, Ali Muscle, but I don't think we can just rely on good quarterback play to get us through. I think the defense and the running game is going to have a lot to do with the success that we will have this year. It's all going to work together. The defense getting us extra chances, because remember, Denzel Ward talked about it. Even though he led the league in PBUs, pass breakups last year, he wants to turn those PBUs into INTs and give the offense some extra chances. And then the offense, the running game, the wide zones, Stefanski's offense, that's going to be a big factor. And if those two things are working together, then the quarterbacks, we're looking at high percentage passes. We're looking at run after the catch. We saw some of that in the mini camp, with Jerry Jeudy and Tillman and Thrash and Deontay Johnson. There's gonna be a lot of catch and run. You're gonna see a lot of screens, things like that. Now you got Fannin and Njoku. I could see one of my favorite plays of all time in football is the tight end pop. I hope we run the tight end pop a lot, especially you run that on like the two. You play action over the top tight end pop. My favorite play of all time in football. Maybe we'll see more tight end pops. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, now this is what we teased at the top. I got a taste of my own medicine here from L. Sean, who says, talking about Denzel Ward. Remember we went over his injury history? Well, L. Sean says, missing an average of 3 games a season isn't as bad as people make it out to be. He says people don't highlight him playing in 95 games in his career. That means he's played in 85% of the games since he's been in the league. Glass half full. I'm usually the guy who goes glass half full. And I mean, El Sean's right. Gave me a taste of my own medicine. Now, I was just listing the injury history. I wasn't even thinking in percentage form. But I appreciate that take more than you know, El Sean. When I read that, I'm like, you're absolutely right. We need to go glass half full on this. How about this? Denzel Ward plays in 85% of the games. How about that? Thank you, El Sean. Zach Horner, 7443, says, we need to trade for Zach Charbonnet. Seattle Seahawks. Says he's so underrated. Problem is, Zach, it's not him who's on the block. It's Kenneth Walker III, because Kenny Walker III is in a contract year. Zach Charbonnet still has 2 years left on his rookie deal. And we know that rookie deals are favorable because they are a lot less expensive. And so whether or not, I don't think, it doesn't seem like the Seahawks are going to pay Kenneth Walker III. And so I don't think Zach Charbonnet is on the block with 2 years to go. And, he is very underrated. And I think he's going to just keep getting more and more chances. And so I don't think your dream will come true, Zach Corner. I think Zach Charbonnet. I think the Zach's got to stick together. That's why Zach Corner is lobbying for Zach Charbonnet. And I appreciate that. I can lean into that. But sorry, Zach Corner. I don't think Zach Charbonnet is coming to us or anybody else. I think the Seahawks will hold on to him. Okay, and then we're going to end with Nelvolia Brown, 3227, who simply says, let's get it. Let's go, Cleveland Browns. Veterans report tomorrow. And football will officially be back in the land, the greatest city in the world, Cleveland, Ohio. But actually, they'll be in Berea because that's where they practice. But Cleveland, Ohio. Football is back in Cleveland starting tomorrow. Can you believe it? Man, does time fly. All right, we're finally here. Thank goodness. And we'll be tracking it all. We'll be tracking the quarterback trackers and the trackers who record. There's going to be so much to track. We're going to have too much to talk about. But I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us today. All right, that's going to do it. Go Browns! We will see you next time.